Hello and welcome to my book nook where I talk about all things stories. Today's video is going to be my TBR for my round 2 of my K-pop readathon that I have created and hosting. If you have not seen the announcement video for that, I will link that down below. But this is my TBR for this readathon. I am very excited for this round. It definitely challenged me a little bit, especially trying to create a realistic TBR versus my ambitious. My ambitious one was much easier than my realistic one. And that is because for the realistic one, I tried to choose as few books as possible, trying to maximize colors and what the members and whatnot, just to get the most out of each book. Because if who knows what the reading month is going to be. But like last time, this is going to have a two-part for the TBR. I'm going to have my realistic TBR, and then I'm going to have my ambitious TBR. This also could completely change. This is just what it is at the time of filming this, which is the beginning of December. So I have basically an entire month for this to potentially change, especially based off of like if I actually read any of these books between now and then. Because if I read them, I'm not going to reread them in January. But we're going to start with that. I do have my things written down. And like last time, I have 2 books that are on this list that I don't physically have with me because they are new releases that are going to be released in January. I believe both of them are actually being released on January 6th. I have chosen those 2 books because those are the ones coming in, and so I'm really excited to read them. So I have those 2 books, and then I have 1 physical book. So those for my ambitious TBR, I have 3. So we'll start with one of the ones that I don't have, and that is Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz, I believe is her name. She wrote the Isle of the Lost, like Descendants books that I read way back when I originally created my channel. That's one of my first videos that I did, was kind of reviewing and talking about all of those books in the series and whatnot, at least as of time that I had filmed it. And this is an adult book, and it is, the way it was kind of described, the part that like sticks out to me the most is kind of like a reluctant barmaid who kind of doesn't believe in the fairy tales and whatnot, and then a cursed prince or whatever, kind of being forced to like live out that, and they have to pair up and whatnot, and it's a romantasy, and I'm just really excited for it. Oh, I should scooch over so I have more room. Editing Lex was probably screaming at me, but I'm going to have the covers here. But yes, Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz. I'm very excited for that. And so for my realistic TBR, I have chosen this for only 2 people. However, I could potentially move it for another one, depending on all the colors once they get here and whatnot. But this is a very simple kind of, I could in theory use this possibly for some of the blondes. But for now, this is the color scheme that we have. So for the first person, I have Lino, because there's silver on the cover, and he recently was silver for the Karma comeback. So silver Lino. And then there is also black on, I think it's black text. I think it's black text. I think it's her name. I looked at it last night when I was making this list, but I haven't looked at it this morning. But I believe there's like black text on it, and so that's how I got the black. So the black is for Sungmin. Those are the 2 books that, or the 2 people that I have their debut looks for, chosen off of Rings of Fate. Then I have Dragon Cursed, and that is by Elise Kova, I believe. Elise Kova. And this one I could also probably make work for even more people, but I capped it where I was because I think I originally had this even for Sungmin as well. But for Hyunjin, we're gonna do the red. I really liked his red, and that was in the Maniac music video. I know he's got like the bright red hair. So red Hyunjin we're gonna do for Dragon Cursed. And then there's also this really pretty kind of like rose goldy color on it, especially like in the center of the page with like the dragon hilt on the sword and whatnot. It's kind of rose goldy-ish. And Felix, again, I think it was for the Karma release, kind of had like a light pink, almost slightly rose gold, depending on the picture cover. I am saying that this color is close enough to what he had. It does not have to, again, it does not have to be an exact copy for the color. It's just close enough. So I'm going with that color for Felix. And then iron, believe it or not, is also coming from this, from the white that is in also the center of that image. I think also maybe at the top and whatnot. And that is for his Cruella hair that he had on the Dominate tour, where he had it previously bleached around. He basically went back to his natural, except for like this streak of like white that he had in the front, and it just looks super cool. And so that is kind of the vibes that I'm going for with that one. I will be creating weekly vlogs again for this one, so if I end up recruiting them, I will be showing pictures of them with these hair colors in those vlogs. So if you haven't seen the Cruella hair by Ian, look it up, but also it'll probably be in a vlog. And then the last book that I have for the realistic TBR is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I'm really sad to say I have not read this yet. It just unfortunately came in at a really busy time in my life this year, so I haven't been able to read it yet, but I'm super looking forward to it. I could also, in theory, choose multiple people from this one as well, more than I already have, but I do have 3 people for this one. So first, if you were here last time, you'll know this is for Bang Jen. Last time I think I had it for my leader prompt. This time it's for the silver. So this, like right here, is almost like a silver foil. You can kind of see it. And he recently had silver hair. So we're going to use that silver for Bang Jen. And then the green is going to be for Changbin. He had the green like highlights also from the Maniac music video. And so I'm counting that. And then the last person I have is Han. We're doing the black from this for Han, because Han is really, like, that man loves his natural color. Like, he doesn't do color that much, at least not compared to some of the others. And like when you just look up him and his hair, almost always it's brown or black. So we're doing black for Han. So that is my realistic TBR, the 3 books. However, I created an ambitious one because, like, I'm going to challenge myself to try to read 1 book per person. And then obviously that can change. I ended up not being able to do that last time, but it's a good goal for me to set. So because I have it right here, I'm going to still be reading Mate for Han with the black. I just feel like sticking with the black is going to be the easiest. So I'm going to stick with it. And this is a book that I really, really, really want to read. So we're just going to get the hard one out of the way by reading Mate by Ali Hazelwood for Han. And then the 2 books that I don't have, we're going to go through those real quick too. So Rings of Fate with the silver, I'm still keeping that with Lena. I liked that look on him. And it's also a new book, so it's going to still be on this TBR. So we're going to keep Rings of Fate for Leno. And then Dragon Curse, we are going to keep that for Ian with his white Cruella hair. I absolutely love it, so we're going to keep that one. All right, next up on my stack, it's not necessarily in any order, it's simply the stack of books that I have, I think, going from thickest to shortest. So next up we have is Cersei, and I have chosen this for Sungmin for the black. This is one of the oldest books in my collection still that I haven't read yet. I'm really excited for it. This is one I definitely want to prioritize in 2026, and so I have decided to put this on my January TBR for Sungmin with the black. So yeah, also this gold is really pretty. So there's also a chance that I could double up on. I'm sure there's somebody who's had gold hair. I'm sure of it. Next up, I have The Striker by Anna Wong. You will see there is like 2 colors. Got purple and white. We are going to be using this purple lavendery color for Lavender Bang Chen. He just recently at the Mamas had the lavender hair. I absolutely love that color. Purple is like one of my favorite. It's like my favorite color. So we're going to be reading The Striker for Bang Chen. I have technically started this. I'm only like, I think, a chapter or 2 in, but I'm hoping to finish it. So The Striker for Bang Chen. Then we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. And this one is going to be for Changbin, still for the green, but it's a different shade of green this time that is on here. But there is green foliage and whatnot, so we're just using that for Changbin. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the same shade of the color on the book as it was in their hair. Green is green. If you want the added challenge of it being the exact same shade, go for it. But, you know, you don't have to. This is where I get ambitious, is this last part. I now have Quicksilver by Callie Hurt, and I'm using this for the silver for Felix because Felix is currently, again, as of Mama's, he's got the silver hair. I want to reread this book, and then I want to go on to Brimstone, also by Callie Hurt. This is the sequel to Quicksilver. You can see that there are basically two colors on this: gold, like this red gold kind of color, and black. Depending on the light and whatnot, it's more gold versus red depending on how you shine it. But I'm using this as red for Hyunjin because when I look at it, like, yes, it's very orangey and gold. However, I do also see red, again, depending on how I hold it. So these chunky massive books, they're so thick. But I'm gonna have this for Felix and Hyunjin for the red. So I have some massive books for my TBR for this round, but I'm very excited for it. Again, these very well could change, but this is at least the plans that I currently have, like I said, as of filming this at the beginning of December. But I'm really excited. Let me know what books you are going to be reading for round 2 of this readathon. I also currently do not have my song picked out. I will announce that once I actually, like, in the first week vlog. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you guys liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up if you want. If you don't, that's cool too. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!